out of the tunnel and into the light. This is my first ride on my own since I read the most upsetting of headlines. I had some plans of how I wanted to start 2024, and they vanished when I read a few words that included Mel Hoskins, accident, Rowan Dennis. And that's not something that you just come to terms with. I don't think we'll ever come to terms with that. Right now, there's a lot more questions than there are answers, but I think in time we'll know a little bit more about what went on the 30th of December in the suburbs of Adelaide. And none of it is pretty. It's the saddest of news, and it's hard to find the words to articulate the things that have happened. And how it leaves us afterwards. To Mel, it was a pleasure to have met you, to have watched you race, to have seen you entertain and impress, and to have watched you mature into a fine mother. I met Mel when she was just out of the juniors, but already successful. And I don't know what really more to say. And I'm going to try and gather my thoughts as the days and weeks and months and years go on. And I might share with you some of the things that I knew about her racing, her accomplishments, her resilience, her good humour, and unfortunately, her husband, who I've had a long and tumultuous relationship with myself. It's not right to even reference him at the moment. But I'm going to have a crack at explaining, what I saw of the pair, what I saw of Mel in my days of reporting on cycling. She wasn't a friend, she was an acquaintance, but we, together we did a couple of fun things. I do remember one scorching day in Utrecht. In July 2015, when we bumped into one another after a bike race, and then we hustled through a crowd on a day of impressive heat. We literally walked past the King of the Netherlands and onwards to the finishing compound. And it was basically a cacophony of laughter and disbelief and all kinds of emotions. And none of them are like the emotions that we're experiencing now, which is largely confusion, upset, grief, and very, very little positive. With the remnants of New Year's Eve still lingering down on the harbour foreshore in Sydney, my thoughts are stuck on Mel Hoskins and the life that's been left behind for her children. And I don't think I can find any words that will comfort anyone, but I'm just trying to acknowledge what's happened and work out a way to sort of, get back to life as usual, but it's not usual for some. It's a beautiful day. I began the year in an upbeat way. I then opened the laptop computer on the very first day of the year, and I saw something that will never ever make sense. Today, I'm not riding for exercise. I'm not riding for scenery. I'm not riding for anything but a little bit of therapy and to try and conjure a few fond memories of a life well lived and a life that came to a grinding halt only a few short days ago, leaving behind a devastated family, young children, and a mountain of confusion. I got here again and I started thinking, that's weird, there's a sign that tells me to go there for bicycle riders. There's another sign that tells me to go there. And then they just sort of didn't make sense and they didn't add up. But I'm done with complaining about that. I've made my point over and over again. I'm not going to do it again. And frankly, there are bigger things to worry about in life than poor signposting. for a couple of days now, I've just sort of been, trying to gather my thoughts and figure out how I'm going to talk about this thing that I don't really want to talk about because it's just too upsetting. And I guess that's the key, isn't it? Like everyone wants to understand what went on, but then when you read a little bit about what went on, then you sort of want to switch off and not know what went on, because it just seems to. Yeah, I don't want to talk about what happened, and I don't think it's appropriate now anyway, because there's still an investigation unfolding, and probably a great deal for the police to learn, and hopefully a little bit of honesty from the people involved. But going on tradition, I don't know if we can get the real story from one of the people involved. Certainly not from the other. So Mel, I didn't know you terribly well, but I did have fond memories of some things that we did, like me as journalist, you as bike rider. And, the Apeldoorn Worlds of 2015, when you broke the world record, that left me in awe. If anyone knows me and the reporting I've done about cycling over the years, they'll know one thing, and that is that I love the team pursuit. And I think that was an exhibition of precision. I remember it well when it happened. I remember watching live. I remember cheering. I remember thinking, that's unreal. And I never thought I'd be sitting here a few years later just thinking, rest in peace, Mel Hoskins. I don't want to make a long piece, so I'm going to just record that little summary of my emotions on the 3rd of January 2024. And I'm a big hug to everyone who's impacted by this. I don't think anyone should try and make sense of it, because it doesn't make sense.